Here we go. Red light's on, we're good to go. So, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Wednesday, January 22nd Facilities Meeting. I am your chair, JP Prego. We'll go around the table. We have our business administrator, Drew Bishop, our board president, Melanie Cunningham, committee members, Keith Carrick, this new member, Liz Fluke. Welcome.
Thanks, yeah, exciting.
Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Farina, and our Superintendent, Dr. Roach. In the audience, we have Peg Pennypacker, board member, Leah Chinfrani, board member.
Yeah, I've been trying
Yes,
to
we
do
did.
that too. It's
With the
hard.
hand, too. It's Italian. Thank you. And also, I'd like to welcome Mike, who's going to be our new Director of Facilities Operations, starting February 3rd.
Yay.
So, welcome. This is your the last time on this side of that table, so enjoy it while it lasts.
Yep.
All right, I'd like to start by looking for a motion to accept the minutes for November 25th.
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Move right along. And we'll jump into old business, the Valley Soccer light installation request. Anybody from Valley?
They are waiting to hear back from RJ Electric. on a quote.
Good luck.
Yeah,
They're busy.
I think he sent a follow-up today because they hadn't heard back, so
Okay,
that's where they were at.
keep it on for now.
Okay.
And then we'll just jump into the asbestos abatement. I assume that's what
Well,
we're
the
doing.
excitement continues. So since we were here
Did we
last,
accept the minutes?
We did.
yes.
I was not paying attention.
Well, nor was I, because I was like, oh, I don't know.
I was first, Liz
Liz
was second.
second.
There we
We
go.
all do.
That's
Done.
fine. I'm just working on the agenda. I'd like to finish the agenda as the meeting's happening.
So since our last meeting, Barry Isaac has had surveyors out to remeasure the rooms, make sure there was sufficient detail, particularly for the science classrooms, which, as you know, are sort of a full gut and restoration based on the asbestos-containing materials. So we received as a district a list. We actually had a scope meeting last Friday, and then Dr. Roach and I did a walkthrough to make sure that what was detailed in their scope was reflected on the TRC's AHIRA documents. We actually have another call because we took notes, we provided some feedback to Barry Isaac, and we have a follow-up in the morning tomorrow. What I will say is that we're looking to have those documents available to facilities. It really can be no later than next month. We have a timeline put in there. The expectation is that we would have understood the scope by the end of January, i.e. this meeting, and be able to go out to bid early in February. As you know, procurement can be a little bit tricky.
Yep.
And so, you know, my push, and I think Dr. Roach's push consistently is, are we going to be ready and are we going to be done in time?
Right.
Because it is quite an extensive process. What I will share with the Facilities Committee is part of this is to procure some of the products, not labor, you know, not fireproofing, those are all contracted, but things like the additional science desks, to have an estimate and go through CoStars for purchasing. So that has to be to this committee by our next meeting.
Yeah.
But we are meeting with them. They should have those documents ready for us. And then I will happily turn it right over.
To Mr. Werman.
I'm trying. I'm doing my best.
You're going to punt that ball so far?
I mean, listen, I'm here to help. But that's sort of where we are. The dumpsters are on site. There is active purging in accordance with the policy for what can be thrown away.
Okay.
there are some priority areas, as you saw, science rooms in particular, that need to do a little more than others. And so, but that process is underway. We want to procure and have boxes for staff. We actually have some back that we hoarded and kept in the roller rink from our last move, which are the first to go to classroom teachers. We will have to secure storage for anything that's not temperature sensitive. So that would be the next phase in March in order to move some of those things to storage. But it was contingent on what the board moved forward. So, you know, those things all have to sort of happen in tandem in order for us to proceed.
So the next meeting, facilities meeting, is the 24th. Are you going to be waiting on us to have that meeting at any point, like,
We
to move
would.
forward with things? Like,
We would.
So if you're set, I don't know, February 17th, like, you're ready to go forward to the next step, you need to meet the facilities committee. Can we have a,
Do we have enough time to like advertise that? and-
Yeah,
Yeah,
we just need 24 hours, I mean,
Okay.
if we had a change, you know. So, yeah, if we could get it February 3rd and have a meeting that week of the 6th, I mean, that would be wonderful. I mean,
Yeah, but-
yeah,
so it sounds like you're open to that flexibility that we have
I
sometimes.
think we all are, yeah.
No, we appreciate that,
Yeah.
that's, you know, again, we wish we were ready for it right now.
Yeah, no sense waiting.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so, and, you know, understanding the scope sort of makes the determination about our next steps in the background also important, right? So, you know, we'll hold on pods until the board moves the project forward.
I do want to clarify a
Although-
rumor I heard today, I know I told you this already,
Yeah.
Dr. Farina, but I was at the chamber meeting this morning, and I was asked that the students came home and said that the high school is going virtual mid-May, to the end of the year.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So I have not been a part of any discussion of the high school going virtual. I said, the last day when students are walking out the front doors, we're going to hopefully have crews coming in the back doors so that we can not miss a date. And I know the board has seen a draft of next year's calendar. We're hoping to not, but there may be a recommendation later on after that calendar is approved if we needed to start after Labor Day. Don't want to, that's not the initial plan, but that would be the only thing
That's our
at that
safe
point.
word.
Well, again, we're trying to get this ready so that, and every time there's a weather delay, I get a call here, don't call it a snow day, don't call it a snow day, don't call it a snow day.
We
Because
need
wanna
as
maximize-
many days in June as we can.
Yeah, so the sooner we can get them out and get this process started, that's a part of it. So that's not
Okay.
true. I told the chamber this morning, no.
We know
I've
it's
not
not
been aware of
true,
any
yeah.
committee meeting or any meetings talking about having the students, maybe it's wishful thinking going virtual
Yeah.
mid-May.
Speaking
Maybe our
into
city
existence
council
or
members are
something.
trying to take over a little bit and show some initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move forward with some of these
Yeah.
projects.
Yes,
quickly.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's not the case.
Okay.
Okay.
Duly noted.
Any comments on the asbestos?
No.
There's a lot of history here. I could put it in, so can Dr. Farina.
You were on the tour.
Yeah, do you want the tour yet?
Yeah.
JP, will you entertain audience questions at this time, or you want
No.
us to wait for last?
Aw.
Go ahead, Peggy.
It's coming anyway.
Go ahead.
It's either now or later.
Go ahead.
So Andrea, purging per policy. Things we don't purge per policy, does that stuff go in storage, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, so our backup
Your
plan
basement, or-
is, well, so there was this predates me, this idea that we could store it up in the mezzanine with our HVAC equipment. That is not to code and permitted. So we are, yeah, right. The things you learn. So we do have to find locations, you know, this is one of the most magical locations for furniture storage that you've ever found, and/or the unoccupied side of the 4th and 5th
I
grade
was just
center.
gonna say, you
Yeah.
got tons of room there.
So we're developing, you know, in the background, a strategy for what rooms are untouched so we can move some of the stuff, right? So there are sections of the 400s is a great example. None of that building is being touched in the scope of the project. So we could do a lot of storage there, but that means we can't clean it.
Right.
And so, you know, there's a lot of logistics to work out between our custodial, our maintenance folks about where and how that's going to be done. The good news is, you know, I think we've kept things in the district since the building opened in 1964.
Very sure.
The policy is very liberal in that we can purge things that don't have value. So, you know, a part of those very historical documents that we're trying to keep, you know, and anything not governed under our retention policy, we are going to discard. But, you know, the scales and balances, there's a lot in there that, we also can bring somebody in. If you ask Jim Roth, he'll tell you if we bring in one of those auctioneer companies to do it, which a lot of districts do.
Right at the Western Center.
Western Center's
Yeah.
been very profitable with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And, you know, I think, but we have to put it somewhere in order to
Right.
inventory it and then do it. So I do think that that's probably a really great recommendation. The policy committee made some changes to make that possible. So I do think that that's something we have to do. It's just we need the bandwidth to do.
Right. It was 1968.
Was it?
So,
I mean, really, they made that lime green? I thought it started in 1964.
no, it was 1968. Yes, so, also, from the athletic lens, I really would appreciate a plan for athletics this summer, especially weight room use. And I know there's been conversations with the Y, so I'd like to know what that will look like. I'm assuming that indoor spaces that might be used, we can use middle school, 4 or 5 gyms, you know, all that stuff. I would like to know, I would like to be assured, relative to the weight room, that all athletic team coaches have been contacted, and I would like to know which ones are going to use the weight room facility and which ones are not.
Okay. Mhm.
I'm
And that is-
concerned,
yeah.
I'm concerned about our female student athletes who typically aren't accustomed to the weight room by and large. So just, I'd like to know that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, and I think we've had a lot of internal discussions. I can't say that I've personally talked to Mr. Kersley, but summer programming, facilities requests, all of those things are impacted and likely very strong no's. Just because of the scope of the work being done at that building.
And the type of the
And
work.
then the air quality monitoring and testing that has to occur even following the abatement process. So, you know, that's very structured, that is not within our control, and so, you know, we're just in advance,
I would-
likely not, you know,
I would
going to
imagine-
allow even the use of the weight room
Well, and
until
part of
that.
the conversation has to be the pool too, right?
That's correct. Well, it's the pipe fittings, and the natatorium area, all the fireproofing. So that grid, he's like, I'm
Reconsidering.
So in that section of that hallway, so that we all walk down.
And what's the
Yeah.
impact on the athletic training room?
So it doesn't go to that section, but it occupies that whole hallway.
Like, you can't be in the building.
You can't,
Can't be
that
in the
section,
building
yeah,
So,
that's,
again, is there a plan for the trainers?
yeah, I can't, we'll need one. I don't have one.
Because there's a lot of equipment in there too.
There sure is.
Yeah.
But if you look at the rest of this agenda, following the roofing and following the wastewater,
Mhm.
get ready for frustrated families and groups that we're closing down Marlboro, the high school, and the 4-5 with roofing.
Yep.
So those buildings, you mentioned that for athletics, that there's roofing going on in that general area there. So those 3 buildings most likely will not be able to be rented or used even by our own programs. And middle school most likely will be ESY, and then athletics and those type of things. So I think the last I talked to Mr. Kerswick, there's 26 requests already for summer usage from outside groups.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're outside areas, but it's going to be,
For athletic teams, you might want to consider the Hereford gym as an option too. I mean, it's space. And just,
Yeah, there's,
there's space.
this is gonna be, it's a massive undertaking to do this.
Yeah.
It affects a lot of people, a lot of activities, so.
But it's once.
It's
only
once.
once.
Yeah, it needs to be
Communicate
done.
that now.
Yeah.
But I think that message needs to be conveyed too, just how big this is, so.
Huge.
Yeah.
Okay. Good night.
Get creative. That's it.
All right.
And
Speaking of
68
roofing.
on the way.
Speaking of
Speaking of
roofing,
roofing,
so you do have documents from Sobek, who is the company, our roof management. They developed the bid package. The short version is right here. I actually talked with Rich today. As you know, in any construction project, asbestos sampling needs to be done. This should not come to a surprise, well, maybe it will, but there was asbestos in the cores samples that they took from the 4th and 5th grade center and the high school. I mean, that's
Let me put on my
construction.
surprise face.
Yeah, so, you know, in addition, as we are tearing off the roof in each of those, not Marlboro, 4, 5, and the high school, we have to follow the same abatement protections. So posting, disposal, air quality, which, how conveniently, that's already happening at the high school, but that's also a part of this. So we are at the phase where, you know, they would like to go out. They've done the specs. They have, it's in that huge document, which we'll post for all of you to read in your spare time. But really, what we'd like to do is conduct a pre-bid meeting on February 3rd. Your first day, it's going to be awesome.
okay.
And then on-site the 4th, and then the invitation to bid will be available June 27th, and then it is posted for three, am I right?
3 weeks?
3 weeks? Yeah.
It's January 22nd
Yeah.
Yeah,
To-
so
to open the bid.
it'll be, oh,
Yeah.
did I say June?
Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
Channeling summer, sorry, I even more thinking. Everything will be due February 14th. So we are looking to, you know, use facilities again. Also, you know, we'll want to be mindful of the timing
Uh-huh.
of this as well, to not bring everyone back out here, one after another.
We like to come.
So that, I will say Sobek does not seem concerned about interested parties. The substantial completion, you know, we're looking for, what I said to them is, it's not in here, which is strange because I sent it to them. You know, right now, it would be after the last week of students when they could start, which is like that 13th of June, am I wrong? But that part, so if we don't have any snow days, you know, you can get them on site. But really, we're looking for the 3rd week of August to be done. Now, remember, teachers come back, new teachers, but then that last week before kids return, which I think is like August 22nd, would be final. You know, we have substantial the week before and then final before kids walk back in here. They were, in my conversation today, they did not feel like that would,
Yeah.
that would not be a difficult target.
Okay.
I'm looking, I believe what they say because I don't know any better. So that, we're on course on this project.
Okay.
Do you have a plan if it doesn't happen on
I
time?
would like to cry.
We cry, I want to cry.
No,
Just ask.
yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah, and, you know, he did indicate to me outside of the removal of the current roof structure, which is asbestos, ACM, it's the tape. I was like, okay. You know, there are roofing projects that are done while kids are even in session. So they didn't think it would be an issue. We're not doing it while kids are in session, that's not the plan.
But they can knock out the areas that had the asbestos on the roofs, or they can knock those out first? And then-
Yeah, I mean, yes,
Is it-
and what he said is likely to, you know, depending on what kind of bidding they get, how many, will determine how many crews they can run. So
Not-
you
not
won't
the-
know that until people bid on the project.
And not to downplay it, but it was 4-5 center was sections 10, 11, 16, and high school was just one section, 21. And then that's the ridgeline fix at Marlboro, so it's
Mhm.
not full roofs being,
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
but this is at the same time as the high school asbestos piece.
Okay.
Okay. Good on roofs.
For now.
All right. Wastewater.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
You want to take it?
Oh, Drew.
Delayed. See, Drew, when you're in charge, it got that.
So Andrea
Just a full
mentioned
bid package for that.
there was no concern from SOBEC about interest in the roof project. We definitely have some concern about the wastewater project. There was a pre-bid meeting back in January, nobody showed up. The bid was scheduled to be open on the 15th of January. Rob from Barry Izett put out an addendum to push that back to February 19th because there was no interest in the project. So he's going after contracting publications to try to get more interest and also personally contacting contractors that he's dealt with before to say, hey, take a look.
You said February 19th?
February 19th, yeah.
There's nothing on CoStarz. Just asking.
Yeah.
I know, I'm kidding. It's-
So hopefully, on the 19th, we'll be able to get some bidders to bid on it.
Okay. Was there any concern with the timing and scope of that one?
I asked him, and he did not seem too concerned about that.
Okay.
It's just actually getting somebody to do it.
Just getting somebody to
yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Did he have any opinions on why nobody bid? You know, people just aren't doing that type of work. There aren't enough qualified contractors in the area to do the work.
I said, is this a project that somebody would not be interested in doing for whatever reason? And he said, no, it really wasn't. So he was hopeful that he can drum up some interest.
And the repairs that we did it was last summer, right?
Yeah.
We had-
Last summer.
Yeah. Did we did that with internal people? or did
Yes.
we-
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So we, all right.
Yeah, they fixed some of the grading on top. They had to address some of the fracturing. And so they were able to do that. I have pictures if you'd love to see them.
Absolutely.
But, you know, those were, because we knew we didn't have enough time,
Those were
Right.
quick
those were
fixes.
really
Yeah,
quick
yeah, they're band-aids.
fixes to keep it a viable piece of
Did we-
equipment.
Did we ever talk to Upper Montgomery Joint Authority, or, because that's what they do? I mean, that's what they do, just to see if they have any thoughts on who could do it, or who they could talk to?
We could try.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't talked to them.
Yeah,
Okay.
but,
It's a good idea.
yeah.
I happen to know the director. You, I can call him.
So, yeah.
and Ask her about it.
Put in a good word
Call
for
the
it.
I can do
Yeah.
that. I can do that. I can do that. All right,
Okay.
just maybe to get another avenue of
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tree removal?
So the tree was removed at the high school. You can't see it anymore because it's gone.
Yeah.
As you circle around there, it's really low to the ground, and that was the dead tree that's there.
Yeah.
And I just sent a text to find out, I have not gotten the bill from them, from the 4-5 center, so it was supposed to be done on the 30th of December, and I guess the ground, they couldn't get their trucks back there, it was too soft, they would get stuck, so we're playing the thaw-freeze game right now, but it's on. I'm assuming once we get the bill, because we got the bill the day
Yeah.
they finished the one at the high school, we got the bill electronically, so I just did send a text to one of the maintenance staff, haven't heard back yet, but, so just letting you know that that's
Who's
done.
doing that one?
Busso, who's doing it?
Oh, Busso.
Busso, yeah, so that, they did the one at the high school at the top of the turn there, the lead there,
Yep.
and waiting on that shrub along the tracks there, so that's where we are. I'm assuming it's still the same.
Okay.
And then I just left this on as old business. We had a discussion at the last meeting in terms of the information I think Mr. Kerswick shared and some of those numbers. I'm not sure where we are in terms of any more plans for this summer.
I think this summer's booked, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm working with Mr. Kerswick on the 3 to 5 now, with the 1 to 5 to 7 year athletic piece, that's definitely on there. in
Yeah,
the First
it
year
needs
or
to be.
two. Yeah, it is, I mean, it's on there, we'll present in the next 2 months or so to try to get that information and begin the budget plan.
Gym floor too.
Gym floor's on the list. Yep. Yep.
Have fun, it's wonderful.
We're trying to beat the bushes on everything possible. I mean, like new goals, and if we just really just get it out there so you can see it, and some things may, have higher priorities, and I'm sure when we share it with a wider group, there'll be people like, well, think of things that we're not thinking of, because it's just different pieces to that, so.
Okay.
So that's kind of where we are, I'll just keep it on.
Yep,
Yeah.
keep it on.
And just to be clear, because I get asked all the time, the turf is a no-go this summer.
Correct.
I don't know how we could afford it.
Yeah.
That's fine, I just need to answer the question, It is what it is.
Yep. If we can add on, back on to old business, the Marlboro Pavilion.
Yeah.
They reached out to me yesterday and said they got plans in from an architect, I guess. So they'd like to come and present that to the committee. So if we can do that for next meeting, whenever that may be.
What did we say, Marlboro?
Pavilion.
For the
Thank you.
PTFS.
I had to think about it.
Okay.
I'll put it down in new business now and then cycle it back up
Yep,
next time.
thank you.
Yep.
All right, our standing discussions about security?
The only thing I can add right now is we actually have the 12 to 6 position filled.
Yeah, I think you mentioned
Yeah,
that
it's
last one,
fully
yeah.
staffed,
So we
yeah.
still have it filled, which is
Yeah,
good.
it's filled, yeah, and I think what they're using is when we work with Cardinal Point for, some evening security type of things, they ask that person to stay on, or they're getting this person more hours elsewhere.
Hmm.
I understand it's tough because it's 6 hours, but
Right.
it's not really our issue in terms of, that's the contractor's issue, right? I mean, I hate to say it that way, but they do have it filled, and I don't know, I think the staff we have on board right now, I mean, I know all their names, I mean, just they're friendly, I think I see them talking to kids, connecting with kids, and doing good things, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's been
Yeah.
pretty positive. If there's a question or a concern, and we have to contact Cardinal Point, they're right on top of it.
Okay.
And I think when we can get back to, when Mike comes along, get back to those updates and the progress report. Rodney right now is one kind of running point with all the updates and the different support data numbers and stuff like that, so. We do have an all hazards meeting coming up on February 7th, so that's the meeting that has local police coming in and making sure that we're in compliance. So we have someone from Marlboro, someone from East Greenville, all that kind of thing. So that's on the horizon here in February as well.
Good. Are we using that dashboard that Cardinal Point offered?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that off the top. I know we were at one point. We're going through some growing pains, for lack of a better term, of what how many crop doors, how many those types of things, because they report a lot of information back. So
Okay.
that's what I think we're still using it. I don't know to what level, or again, if I'm sure if we ask Mr. Blake, you'd have a better handle on that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something,
I can
information
put that on
we'd be
there.
interested in seeing
Yeah.
in this committee meeting. Maybe not next month, because we're,
So if things to do.
right, but,
Yeah,
Or something to look into
the
for
Cardinal Point
future.
dashboard.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Because that was one of their big selling points too,
Agreed, yeah.
when we brought them on board.
Agreed.
Okay. Anything? Security? Good. Okay. Feasibility study, our top 10 list.
Don't really have much on that right now. I think we're hitting a couple of those items.
Yeah, I mean, I can happily report, one of the ESA ECMs that was deferred in 1B was the expansion, DDC expansion at Hereford, to integrate the controls, the outdated controls, so from pneumatics to DDC, and put it in the system that Michael will monitor. But right now, Phil is.
Yeah.
Listen, I never thought I'd say these words in my whole
I
life.
know.
I know what they mean.
are.
Right, right.
Another
right.
acronym, what's DDC?
So we spoke to the, I actually know the answer. But anyway, so those were integrated into the control system, and so
Great.
those are available
So they're on the
So that was on our
The-
top 10 list that was
Yep.
presented previously. As Dr. Roach indicated, the wastewater plant is underway, which was one of our top 10. Asbestos abatement was a top 10.
Yep.
Roofing was one of the top 10. Now, you know, we have prioritized lists, so the high school will come back again. So, you know, we are chipping away. There's still other items, but I think that, you know, some of those deferred ECMs, we're trying to simultaneously tackle, so.
Do we have any way, I don't remember if we've had a report in a while, how our other low-hanging fruit that we did the Giza is affecting
Performing.
our, are we getting money back from it? It's
Are we
been a
getting
while.
that guaranteed energy savings?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, how are we doing
So
with
we
that?
did get, I had
I
to
can't
go back and
remember.
look for it. I remember I saw an email.
It was a while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
it was.
We'll have to think.
Wasn't I on that meeting? Didn't we
Oh,
have a
yeah.
Zoom meeting?
Yeah.
No, that.
I was like, wait, no, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah.
That's right, I was there. Yeah.
But no, I
I
think-
was just thinking about it, that's all.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good thing to see.
So if we're getting any payment to make it whole, and or if we are seeing the results or the savings that we thought we were told we would see
Yeah.
as a part of the project.
Yep,
Okay.
Okay.
sorry.
All right, new business. I
Oh,
heard a chuckle over here.
Okay, so 4.5,
4.5,
great,
yeah.
admin roof HVAC issue. So
What happened?
let's try these, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I can.
It all
I
starts with
purposely
a
showed up late to that
picture.
meeting.
Oh, yeah.
So it turns out it was really, really warm in Mr. Vigilante's office. And when one of our maintenance guys was up there checking things out, so we have 2 units that work, the heating in that building and the cooling. One of them was down and the other one was overcompensating, and we didn't know that the other one was down. When the second one went down, then we found out the problem. So there were supposed to be vents coming up through the roof with little caps, as our maintenance guy calls them, mushrooms and candy
Mushrooms.
canes.
Mhm.
Candy canes
Yeah.
intake, mushrooms.
There you go. Candy cane doesn't take mushrooms out. Okay,
Yeah.
so those vents were not going through the roof. They were capped off and stuffed with, was it insulation
Sorry.
or something? We have pictures.
Oh.
Bird nest. Yeah, no, I'm,
No.
I'm kidding.
So when that section of the roof was done, we had given them, we had a drawing, we had some things highlighted of things that needed to be closed off and things that were supposed to be kept open. Unfortunately, it looked like everything on there was marked to be closed. So when the contractor came in and did the work, they looked at it, everything was marked off, closed up, so they closed all those, just chopped those vents.
So we
and
marked the drawing.
We marked
This
the
is
drawing.
back, this is work done in the summer of '23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the summer of '23, and it was not picked up in the winter of '23 because both of them were offsetting each other. So when one finally went down, one took over, because we were like, well, how did this, what, like,
Why now?
why now, right? We were
Yeah.
having the exact same conversation.
Yeah.
And so that this work went back to, and you did great research going back to figure out, this work was identified probably March, April of '23 to mark off whatever, and then this work was done in the summer on that roof. So, because we were like, he couldn't find any invoice from the summer of '24, it didn't make sense, but this is work from the summer of '23.
Yeah. So the one was overcompensating for the other, then there was a problem until there was a problem with that second one. And then
It just took a
all this
while.
was kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it was discovered. There's certainly more technical terms that I'm sure about this in here. Why are you not saying this? Or this? But that's the layman's terms.
So that
So
was,
what
that
we
was the $265,000 worth of roof work that we had done.
Yeah.
So
And they did what they,
We did-
I know.
we told them.
we went, we were ready to,
Work to spec.
Yeah.
yeah, they did.
And it was actually our people that marked it that way, or it was?
That's what we think.
That's what I think, yeah.
So the roofing company,
They roofed over the vent. They roofed
Followed
it.
what
There
we
was a
said
vent
to
coming
do.
up, they capped it, posted it, and then went right over it. so the air had nowhere to go to get out. So the remedy now is some roof work there to create, I'm assuming.
Put the vents back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cut holes and repipe to get those mushrooms back on.
What about the candy canes?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Gotta find humor in it.
Yeah,
yeah.
keep from crying.
Well, hopefully, when we have it remediated, they will be able to do it well and do as little damage to the roof as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
so for,
shouldn't be too bad, I don't think. I don't think it should be too
yeah, we,
bad. Okay, go ahead.
Is it
Stay
two
on there.
spots? Was it one or two?
there, I wanna say there's 3, but maybe it's just 2.
All right.
Yeah.
And are the units are okay?
Now they are, yeah, both are,
We had to have them both fixed.
yeah.
Well,
I think there was a small, something very inexpensive broke on the second one. It seemed like it was a quick fix. I shouldn't say inexpensive, a quick fix.
Mhm.
That our HVAC expert knew exactly what it was, and
Fixed
we were
it.
able to get that
Okay.
completed.
That's good.
so if the environment is improper for it, we don't have proper venting for it, how's that affecting the day-to-day operation now until we get it remediated?
Yeah, we'll break it down.
Mhm.
And
We got 2
that's
years.
something you can come back with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No one expects an
I
answer.
didn't expect a true answer from you, but the other thing I would suggest is maybe someone take a look at those plans that everything was capped off and see if there's anything hiding under those caps
Yeah.
in case a similar situation occurred. I hate to go back and do double duty, re-inspect, but, you know, to be proactive, that might be
Yeah.
a good thing to do.
See if any other ones were improperly
Yeah.
covered over. It shouldn't have been.
So, yeah, with the help of Sobek, they did have a before and after picture. So there's the before roof, and you can see all the different caps right there.
Yeah.
And then the after, and it's just,
They're
I
gone.
mean, except for, you know, the normal items that are still up there on the roof. But yeah,
Right.
you can see exactly what was capped off, and it seemed like our folks knew exactly which ones needed to be reopened.
I find it really hard to believe that the roofing company
Didn't
just
question.
didn't question it.
Well, we had that conversation too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
And
that
they
I-
said, gee, that's what you told us to do, that's what we
Like,
did.
you guys sure?
We can't go back to that roofing company, right? I mean,
Well,
We
so
did.
technically, because it's within 2 years, we have to go back to that roofing company in order to, so they need to do the work in order to keep the warranty
Intact.
intact, yeah. That's what
But
I
they
was.
followed what we told
So
them.
do we have a quote, or do we have any?
We don't have a quote yet. I was
Okay.
waiting for this meeting, and then I was gonna email Sobek and just say, can you help us get this remedied?
Okay.
So up until this point, they did a good job on the roof, it's just that bad information led to mistakes.
Garbage in, everything else.
So it might be a good thing that we have to go back to the same company because they will want to do it properly,
Mm.
hope so.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Then again, we could just give Mr. Vigilante a fan in his office.
Yeah, right? Open the window already.
Yeah, about it.
Nice pops.
Suck it up.
Yeah. Hey.
All right. So is the boiler VFD motor good news too?
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, so,
That's
as you
very
know,
good.
we had a new boiler installed at the 4th and 5th grade center about 3 years ago. Well, right after we came back from the holiday, the circulating pump and the VFD motor went on, not on the boiler, but those are different parts, I learned. So they both went, and so HT Lyons, who does our boiler inspections, came down with Phil, and they had to give us a quote in order to repair that. So that is imminent
So the motor for the pump quit.
for the boiler. I'm looking to him, listen, this is all in my translation with
For the
pictures
For the pump.
For the pump.
for the pump.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so Andrea, when you were pursuing your superintendent's letter, what
Oh, I have that.
What course did you take to learn about boiler or boiler repair?
Well, I asked for pictures.
This is school of hard knocks. We'll get your pictures.
I mean, I'm not technically inclined to start with, so this is,
We know.
but yeah. But I have all, I know when it doesn't look good.
Did we get a quote? Did we get a quote?
It's about $8,000.
I think I remember.
And that's not in warranty?
That wasn't what was replaced.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was the
Replace the
boiler.
boilers.
The boiler, not the pump.
Gotcha.
Because having
Yes.
for fun, we do everything in
You're right,
once.
Grant.
Gotcha.
I know.
Okay,
So that is happening.
thanks for that.
I guess we can skip indoor boys track, right?
How much does he make it?
Yep.
Surprised that.
All right, so moving on to something that actually is.
Let's stay with the
good.
negative real quick.
Right.
No,
hold
come
on.
on.
I've got one more thing that isn't on there. So, one of our sewer pumps at the high school, you know about this, don't even look at me like you don't know. So we have two. One is down. So I have to go back and look at my pictures. But it is in need of repair. If the other one goes down, which,
Or deep.
yeah, then I always say if it's catastrophic, like what happens if this breaks?
Right.
No school.
And I
We
was
were
told.
finishing the year virtual.
Right. I was told.
And you thought the mold was bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't say that word.
You don't
please.
say that word.
So they are in the process, I have to go back and find the email.
They
but,
is.
Phil is,
Okay, our maintenance guy.
Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
I don't think they gave a quote yet, did they?
I did not see one.
Okay, but we've had to, the ultimate fear is that the second one that is operating will go down and then the school is
And then our whole schedule is screwed up.
correct.
We have two for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have two.
What's the timeframe of a repair? Like ASAP, right?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Because the one that is operating,
It's
Yes.
probably
The
400
same
years old.
vintage as the one that broke.
1968.
it is definitely vintage.
Yeah.
1968.
Yeah. And so, we want to make sure that we get the other one up, just in case.
Yep.
How many hundreds of years am I gonna have to run for school board until this stuff is all good? Lots.
I mean,
Hundreds of them.
Going blind.
I mean,
Oh, my
I'm
gosh.
not even gonna say it. We're gonna be here a long time.
Oh, yeah.
A really long time.
Well, but think this one through. I mean, if the other one shuts down, I'm just thinking of the PR nightmare.
Mhm.
Just,
But we can't end it as quick as we can get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We told them to go. He said,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So move forward.
Get it,
Yeah.
let's go.
Drew will find the money for us, don't worry.
Thanks for, you said that.
harder and harder.
Okay, let me mention one more thing then while we're talking.
We're on a roll.
Michael, it's been great.
Did you sign
so-
Can't wait for the email tomorrow.
You know what, on second thought.
But we have really good senses of humor. That's a good thing.
So, Dr. Roach and I got a text about a little incident in the locker room, men's locker room at the high school. You see the theme?
Does it involve a toilet?
No, what happened was the coil on the HVAC heater in the
Trying.
drying room
Oh, no.
froze.
Oh,
And so the maintenance staff and custodial staff noticed that the water was backing up in the building, hard time flushing. It appeared to get a little chilly at the high school. That started at like 9 o'clock. It was half-day, midday finals. Kids went in the locker room and found quite a flood. So what happened is it finally created enough pressure from being frozen that it burst. The water was pouring in. Also have pictures if you'd like to see them. So that was, they turned that off. Ross and Phil went out. They noticed that the gauges on the boilers were down as well. So it lost enough water that it drained the boilers. So it wasn't producing heat.
Was that the blacksmith guy?
No.
Nope.
That's a
This is
different
today.
We can add
Oh,
that.
that's today, that's right.
So I'm happy to report, well, that system, that particular system, because of the freezing and that's not operating, but it is shut off. The water is cleaned up. The boilers are filled back, so it is producing. Also, it was noted that there's a door between the locker room to the exterior. It's like a little tunnel back there. That is all flooded where
Next
there
to
was
the back
carpet.
of the gym at,
So I said, listen, you could have got a gym floor because it almost went in there. But there is a heater in there that had a blown fuse, which is the likely culprit because the piping goes through there into that room. And so Brian Minner got that back up and heating, which he thinks will prevent any future issue.
That's
So
the
they
carpet.
will need to repair those
Squares,
coils
yeah.
and get that system back up in that section. What I understand to be the scope of that, the impact is only contained to that location, which is, Mr. Kurzwig was there. It's gonna be cold. There's no heat going to there, so,
So no heat in the team room
yeah.
Right.
So there's a wrestling event, so Mr. Kurzwig was like, we gotta figure, you can't use this right now. It's gonna be really cold. So, that happened today.
either. Is that carpet able to be saved?
No.
We're not alone.
Yeah, I was just
This
saying.
No.
is in other places
No,
also.
it's
Just gonna
pretty
say to
gross.
Keith, we just went off the
Well,
meeting for
actually, that's not a
JFC.
bad thing to rip that out.
Yeah,
That carpeting is gross.
yeah.
so here's a really fancy picture of it. That's the carpet,
Ah.
otherwise known as the swamp.
Now it's a
And we're
real
not in
swamp.
Florida State, right? Who's that?
Yeah.
Gators.
Actually, that should be ripped out in a pot.
So, Brian Benner was gonna rip that out, but it was a good, and some piece of equipment is probably a casualty. I was told that it takes the stink out of the air from
Oh,
the athletes.
machine.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
so,
Well, he'll send us
Okay.
someone.
But, I don't know the expected repair cost of that, but it was just yeah. You handle it.
Yeah.
Probably like 8,000,
Yeah.
Oh, yep, there it is.
So-
Rail track.
So who's getting the?
depending on size.
Yeah.
Is Brian getting all these quotes?
Well, when we left, Ross and Phil were there, so they were,
Yeah, they're talking about HC Lions coming
Yeah.
in to do the
Oh,
oil.
okay, good.
Okay. This could be insurance?
I mean,
Great.
Great, yeah, that'll
is it a natural disaster?
And beg for
I'm gonna-
it.
Extreme climate.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe
Yeah.
we can talk about that, but, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they give you the coil.
Oh, really?
Like, if you flooded like the gym, like you said, the coil caused damage there, they'll do that. I don't know if they'll give you the mechanical side of things. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, we can try.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
So,
All right, you finished now?
Yeah, right?
Can we cut it there?
I
All
know,
right.
sorry.
Exactly.
I don't usually come bearing good news.
I know.
Yeah.
So the good news is,
I did have it.
yeah, we have a tentative date for the
That's the
naming.
wrong date on
That's the wrong
there.
I know,
That's the
that's
date we
why I
had
said
on the last.
tentative, I didn't say what the date was.
I got you.
For the naming at the court at the 4-5 Center for Coach Steve Ruby. So Peg, you were very instrumental in getting that done.
Yeah.
I think,
It'll be April 3rd,
Yep.
4 o'clock. I'll contact.
What time, Peg?
4 o'clock.
Okay.
I'll contact Alyssa and help whoever organizes the ceremony, and I'm also reaching out to people who knew Steve, who are still with us. And that includes former teachers and coaches, alumni, so there's a lot of excited people about this. Steve was well-known and is well-known, and it'll be a good thing.
So are they gonna have the plaque and or the things above the doors, they'll be all ready?
They'll be ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess as we get closer, we can work, myself and you and Mrs. Janowski can work on, small programs,
that'd
who
be
wants to
great.
speak and that type of thing. And then if we, like with the one that we had at the high school, that wasn't on the wall yet, so we could determine if we know where we want to place it, and then we had some things, or if they're going to be kind of held on a table or something and then installed after or whatever, so
Okay.
happy to, whatever we get going on that.
I'll call this tomorrow or Friday.
So yeah, thank you, Peg, you're doing a lot of the legwork
It's
and
a good thing.
communication on this, so,
Steve's a good guy.
good thing. yeah. Okay, any public comment?
Other than yikes. No.
Hearing none. Any committee member comments? Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion. Adjourn. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Ay, ay, ay.
Meeting adjourned.